and rows, the highway gold is in our hands. Rusted hope and city smoke, the violet lands. I feel it every now and then. I remember what you said, that it was us against the wind. Losing things we held by strings for far too long. Set the sun, I know it's young, the siren song. I feel it every now and then.
Hi guys, happy spring! Today is the spring equinox and I just wanted to share with you some ways that I celebrate the beginning of spring and some rituals that I like to do each year for that. The new year is often celebrated around January 1st, which is in the dead of winter, and that's always felt wrong to me and hasn't made sense. And so over the past several years I began celebrating the new year around the spring equinox, which is also the beginning of the zodiac, and that's just been way more supportive for me and my lifestyle. If you look at the earth, things are beginning to come alive. Naturally during the winter we want to rest and reset, and we are lower in energy. As spring comes along, we're ready to start coming back out into the world, and so I feel like it just makes more sense, for me at least, to reset and start making goals and setting intentions this time of year. Last spring, I was 4 months postpartum. I set so many goals and intentions, and now that I'm looking back and reflecting, I really didn't accomplish any of those goals. Honestly, I was kind of sad about that, but then the more I sat with it, I realized the early stages of motherhood are kind of like an internal winter. It's just a slower time in life naturally, and it doesn't make sense to just have a bunch of big ambitions and goals and trying to get a bunch of stuff done at this time. By accomplishing none of these goals, I was able to just be fully present with my daughter as she grew. She was just a tiny little baby last year. She could barely even sit up, and now she's running around. She's a whole toddler. Time goes by so fast with small children, so in hindsight I am grateful that I did slow down. And this year I'm just reframing the way that I'm setting goals and intentions, especially because I'm still in those early phases of motherhood. I'm super busy with a toddler now. It just wouldn't make sense for me to make highly ambitious goals in my life outside of just being a mom. So I just wanted to share some of the rituals and the intentions that I'm bringing forth in this new year for me in a way that's just super supportive for this season and phase in my life. I think my biggest goal and intention that keeps coming up for me is just spending as much time as I can outdoors, regardless of what the weather is. I feel like it's just so good for me and so good for my daughter to be close to nature. And another one of my goals is just living cyclically with my internal seasons and what I'm experiencing in my own life, and also with what's going on with the natural cycles and seasons of this earth. I feel like the best way to do that is spending lots of time outside in nature and observing nature, and there's so many things that we can just learn from being out in nature, on top of all the amazing health benefits that we can have from being outside, getting more movement, getting sunshine. It's just so regulating for adults and children's and dogs and all animals to be outside. That is one of my biggest goals. One thing that I have really been observing and reflecting on is that as the seasons change and transition, it's always a slow transition, especially in a place like where I live. I live here in Utah, and when springtime comes, it's not necessarily just warm and spring weather right away. It is back and forth. It will feel like it's starting to warm up, and then there will be a huge snowstorm, and then the the next day will be sunny, and it'll be back and forth and back and forth. And because of this crazy weather that we experience, it's not the right time to plant seeds. If you garden outdoors, you kind of wait till the end of spring, right before summer. Spring is not a time where all the flowers are in bloom. Things are just barely starting to get green, and oftentimes they're muddy and yucky and still uncomfortable, and still the feelings of winter is lingering or just defrosting from the last season. And I see that a lot in myself when I just want to rush into the next transition of life. It just never works that way. I do so much better if I allow that slow transition into the next season of my life and into the next phase. And yeah, I feel like going from a little baby, she's still a baby, but moving into that toddler phase is definitely a transition. But you know, I'm not fully out of that small child motherhood phase. She still needs me a lot. She still wants me a lot, and I still don't feel like it's good to be separated from her for long amounts of time. A ritual that I've been doing every year over the past few years is an oracle spread that goes through the next seasons of the year. I pull out a card for spring and summer and autumn and winter, and then I do a fifth card that's kind of just the overall theme of the year. As I shift into each season, I like to go back and reflect on what I pulled and kind of go in a little deeper throughout the year and see how things unfold. This year I used the Earth Warriors deck, and yeah, it just seemed like such a powerful, profound message, talking a lot about just finding light in my life through daily practices and creativity and connecting with community. A lot of patience was an overlying theme. Yeah, that spread was just a good reminder, and I'm just excited to see how the year holds out. I'll share the little layout of the spread that I do. It's super simple, but if you want to do it, it's super fun and insightful. And I love using oracle cards versus tarot cards because I don't know, I personally just don't want to pull out like the Tower or the Death card in an upcoming season and just have that like lingering in my subconscious. I find just like a really positive, encouraging oracle deck and do my spread like that. Another little ritual is vision boards. Me and my partner Austin created a vision board, kind of like our 5-year goal vision board, where we want to be living, what we want our life to look like, and we put it on a poster in a nice frame, and I think it turned out really beautifully. We still need to hang it up on the wall. We're in a place where we can see it every day, but I love looking at it and just remembering that that's what I'm working towards creating, especially in this slower season of my life, because sometimes when things feel kind of slow and start to feel stagnant, it's just a good reminder to be like, yeah, I'm working towards this every single day, and these slower moments are a part of the process. I also have a vision journal, or like a manifestation journal. It's kind of just a little creative outlet I have where I just glue in a bunch of pictures and make a bunch of collages and write in detail of what I'm envisioning and what I want to create in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. I also kind of just journal honestly about where I'm at in my life right now and what's coming up for me. I love to show my baby this book because I feel like babies are so magical. I'm like, if I'm giving her these visions, me and her can co-create this life that is fully abundant and supportive for her and for me and for our family unit. I love doing that. I don't know if it does much, but she loves looking at the pictures with me, and she even helps me glue them in and stick them on, and so it's just fun. It's a fun little creative outlet. And something I'm calling in more this year is just more creation, specifically painting. I have gradually been painting more and more over the past 5 years, but I really haven't invested that much time into it, and have no technique and I have no idea what I'm doing. I just paint, and I would love to just do it more whenever I get those little spare pockets of time. I look back on the few larger pieces I've done over the past years. It's just so inspiring to see the progress of what I've created. I'm so excited to see what my painting and art grows into over the next 5, 10, 20 years, hopefully the rest of my life, because it's something I really enjoy. But that's been a big goal and intention of mine, is to just paint as much as I can, because I really don't have that much free time, but I just keep 1 or 2 paintings out at a time, and I'll just work on it when I get the chance, if my baby's down for a nap or she's playing with my partner. And right now I'm just currently envisioning a painting of a jungle scene. I'm not sure exactly how it will turn out. It's funny because when you start with a painting, it's just kind of chaotic and it doesn't look very good. And last time I was painting, I was thinking like, oh, this is kind of like my life. Like, I don't really know what this is going to be, but I know it's going to be something beautiful. And right now it just feels a little chaotic and a little messy. I have to keep reminding myself, like, beginnings are a little chaotic and that's okay. It's like if you watch a Bob Ross show, I feel like it all just comes together in the last few minutes of the episode, and then he just whips out this masterpiece at the end. And definitely do not have Bob Ross skills, but I try and I'm working on it. I genuinely really love all the paintings that I've created. I don't really care if anybody else likes them. I like them, and that's what's most important. And I'm hoping to hang this jungle piece up right here behind this plant. I think it'll just look so good looking into this room and just seeing like a green, vibrant painting. Yeah, I don't want to set like a set number of paintings or like how often I'm going to be painting, but I just want to set the intention that I intend to create more when I have those pockets of time. Also, another creative outlet for me has been these videos. I really like making these videos. I feel like they might seem super silly to other people, but honestly, I just make them for myself. It's kind of a way for me to document in more of an artistic way. And yeah, I like it. I've been really loving learning how video works, and also learning the art of storytelling and learning how to not be so weird on camera. I feel like I still am pretty weird on camera, but I've watched some older videos and I've definitely gotten a little better. So it's cool to see. It's kind of just like a mirror and a creative outlet. And yeah, it's also just, I like it. I don't know. I like it. I guess one of the most classic rituals and things to do around spring is spring cleaning. A lot of people do that inside and outside of their body. So they clean their house and they do cleansing and diets and just trying to clean out their body and clean out their home. And that's currently what I've been trying to do. When we moved here, it was about a year ago. My baby was 3, almost 4 months, and I just have never fully gotten quite organized into this house, and I haven't had time to do a huge deep clean. I've been slowly trying to just gradually organize things and clean things, and I've been just staring at my pantry. It's been so chaotic. I have so many herbs that are disorganized and they end up just sprawled all over my counters. I am hoping to maybe go to some consignment shop soon or a thrift store and find just like a medicine cabinet that stands up, maybe like waist height, tall enough that my baby can't reach the top. And hopefully I could put some like child-proof locks on the inside. But I just want a nice cabinet that I could put my herbs on the inside, and then I want to put an altar on top of it and just have pictures of, like spiritual figures that I look up to. I would love to print out a picture of Ram Dass because I feel like he's just so influential to me, especially since I've become a mother. Just a picture of my baby. Just the classic altar so I could just remember what's important at the end of the day. And then just have all my medicine and herbs all in one place so I can have access to use them more, and so they're not scattered all over my counters. I feel like that will just bring a little bit more internal peace, just not seeing chaos everywhere. As I was like, it's spring, I'm just gonna deep clean things, I'm gonna get a bunch of shit done. I was deeply humbled by my toddler. She is so sweet, and she's still just loves my full attention all the time. She loves being held. She doesn't like being put down or ignored if I'm trying to do a task that has nothing to do with her. And so I can do small amounts of organization time, either if Austin's home, but usually I like to use the time that he plays with her to like create and to meditate and to drink tea. So I have been baby wearing her for like 20-30 minutes at a time. I'll just tie her up on my back. Sometimes she gets mad about it, but we just like will nurse before and just get in a good mood, and then I'll just clean for 20-30 minutes because I feel like me and her have transitioned to a time where I can start getting more stuff done, and like she's still getting my attention, she's being held, she's on my back, so we're getting stuff done, but definitely at a slower pace than I would like, but I'm just learning to accept that. And honestly, I just want to get my life a little bit more organized before our lease is up next year. Just minimize and simplify my life for our next place that we live. I think it will just feel so much better to just not have so much to maintain and just have things organized a bit better, like having a medicine cabinet, letting go of a lot of things that I don't need, like going through my clothes. I feel like I have so many clothes that don't fit me from before I had a baby. They don't fit my physical body anymore. I do not fit in an extra small anymore. I just feel like they don't fit who I am anymore, just like the style and feel of them. And so just slowly transitioning out of old things, donating, gifting them to people, selling things that I can sell, recognizing like I don't have to do it all right now. I know it's the spring equinox. I know it's a good thing to do during the springtime, but also I have a toddler. I can't just like clean for days on end like I used to. Today we went through the pantry a little bit, and I decided to make a little body scrub out of some ingredients that I needed to use. I mixed some sugar and some ground coffee. I added an herbal oil infusion that I made that's really nourishing and healing for the skin. And yeah, my baby was just throwing sugar everywhere, and she threw my camera to the ground, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am just falling back into that habit of just trying to get so much done instead of allowing myself to do things a little more slowly. And so that was just a good reminder. Hi guys, it's Future Izzy. I just wanted to hop on here because I'm editing right now, and I just realized I forgot to talk about where I'm at with my diet. Usually in the spring, I like to do a cleanse and just reboot my system, but since I'm breastfeeding, I am not going to do a cleanse. I am just focusing on what's the most wholesome and nourishing for my body by just staying hydrated, eating whole, well-sourced foods. I have been increasing my fruits and vegetable intake a little bit just to add a little bit extra of that cleansing without being too extreme. I did experiment a little bit with increasing my protein intake. I tried to up my protein to 120 grams a day just to see if that was supportive of me while I was breastfeeding, but I actually got really nauseous when I did that. I felt like I was going to throw up every night, and so I just went back to my normal protein intake, which naturally falls around like 70 to 90 depending on the day. that was just a good reminder to just stay balanced with how I eat, not doing anything too extreme like a juice cleanse like I've done in the past, or being like more carnivore diet. And so yeah, I shared this in my last video, but I'm really just focusing on working on my inner work that has nothing to do with food and diet, focusing on my mental health and my mind and regulating my nervous system. I feel like that is kind of my internal cleanse right now, cleansing out my thoughts, recognizing where I feel guilt and where I'm holding on to things and what beliefs aren't serving me right now. I feel like that's the most important. And yeah, I'm sure when I'm done breastfeeding, if it resonates and I feel called to it, I'll probably do a cleanse, and I'm sure that would feel really nice just to clear everything out after pregnancy and birth and breastfeeding for such an extended amount of time. It might be good to have a little reset, but right now I'm focusing on nourishment and just tending to my inner world. And yeah, I just wanted to share that because this time of year we just are cleansing our home, cleansing our bodies, and that's what it looks like for me as a postpartum mom. So yeah. I also started my period today right on the spring equinox, and yeah, I feel like I'm just releasing that old story of doing so much, you know? Like I said at the beginning, last spring I made so many goals and I had so many ambitions and I got none of it done, and it's so easy to fall into patterns of guilt about that, or to even feel like a failure, like, wow, I didn't get anything done. I had a dream the other night that my future self came to visit me, and she looked me in the eye and told me it's okay to slow down, it's okay to do nothing right now. She reminded me that I'm actually doing everything by slowing down and being present with my child, because she's gonna grow so fast. A short amount of time, I'm going to be back to the space where I can get things done that I want to get done, and I'm not gonna look back and remember these times of like, oh, my counter was messy and I didn't vacuum every day and there was dog hair everywhere. Like, it can be frustrating in the moment. I've really learned how attached I am to things being clean and organized and having my schedule and my rituals. And I'm really just learning to love and accept the season of my life, because, you know, babies need us, especially small babies under the age of 3, like the first 3 years of their life. They're infants and they need us. And it's okay to put things on hold. It's okay to let go of some ambitions. It's okay to not get things done instantaneously. And actually, it's all just conditioning that we have in the Western world, that we need things instantaneously and we need things so quickly and we need things to look a certain way. And motherhood has just shown me, like, wow, like, I've been so conditioned by the Western world and these structures and this, you know, masculine energy of go, go, go. And as I've stepped into motherhood, I'm being invited to step more into my feminine and to slow down. And it's really hard, but it feels really good. And yeah, like I said last week, I started the Reconnected parenting group, and it's already been so profound. I just did the first week, which is like just the intro of learning about everything. They have a guilt meditation, and we just kind of reflect on what guilt we carry and then let it go. Wow, like, I didn't realize I carried so much guilt, and the things that I carry guilt about. One thing that has come up for me is just a lot of guilt around how I've chosen to parent my child, which was interesting that came up because, you know, on a conscious level, I know that I am doing what's best for my child, and only I know what is best for her at the end of the day. And as I've become her mother, I've really been intentional about slowing down with her, and I co-sleep with her, I still breastfeed her, I had a home birth. These were things that I always wanted to do and thought I would do, but as I've become a mom and have experienced it, I guess I never realized how critical people will be of parenthood and how everybody feels like they have to say something. And I have been told things like, I am allowing my daughter to manipulate me by holding her when she wants to be held. I've been told I need to have better boundaries with her, and I've been criticized for co-sleeping and still breastfeeding her. And I know, like, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks or says. I know that what I'm doing is not creating issues, but as a mom, there are times where we don't get sleep and we're sleep deprived and we're tired and touched out and exhausted. And I feel like in those low moments, I've found myself wondering, like, are these people right? Like, am I ruining my daughter? Am I letting her manipulate me? And I don't truly believe those things, but I feel like those thoughts creep in. And then there's another layer of just like feeling guilt about not being more confident and in my power. Like, nope, I know how I'm mothering and I know that this is best for me and my daughter. Don't tell me what to do, and just like not giving a shit what people say. But like, those words stick to me and they hurt me, and it's triggering for me. It's triggering for me to be told that like my 16-month daughter is manipulating me because she wants to be held. And I'm like, for what? Like, for love? She's manipulating me for love? Is that wrong? Even if she was manipulating me, like, is that wrong? Is it wrong that I'm performing basic biological functions like breastfeeding my daughter, who, by the way, like, the World Health Organization recommends breastfeeding for at least 2 years. It's not strange for me to be breastfeeding a child that's over 1. And yeah, I mean, obviously I get triggered by this. I don't need to justify myself, but just expressing where I'm at. After I did that meditation and started releasing that shame and guilt that I was holding on to, and some of that anger and those triggered feelings, I just felt a lot more confidence starting to come up in me, and just feeling more embodied in how I show up for my daughter. For example, yesterday, I'm pretty sure she's teething, and I just could tell that she wasn't feeling the best. She just wanted to be held more. And I had so many plans of things to get done that day. And when I recognized, like, I'm probably not going to get these things done, she needs me to hold her, I just surrendered to that, and we just slowed down and we just cozied up. We watched a movie together and I nursed her and just gave her my full attention. And I could just see like how secure and safe that she felt in that moment. And I also just felt that shift in me where I was like, it's okay. I'm gonna miss these moments. She's not always gonna be a baby that just like melts in my arm and snuggles with me. And I'm gonna miss that so much. Like, I'm not gonna look back and be like, oh, I'm glad that I cleaned my house instead of snuggling my baby. If somebody wants to judge me for that, then whatever. Like, if that makes them feel good to be angry about a baby's needs being met, then that says more about them as a person than it says about me. And honestly, like, this is no judgment to how people parent their children. I know that like most moms are doing their best, and every baby is different. Every baby has different needs. Like, my sister's first child slept so good all night, every night, and he liked sleeping in a crib, and she didn't even have to really do sleep training or anything with him because he just would go down to sleep and sleep good. And he's honestly to this day one of the happiest, bright kids that I know. And then her child that she has now, that's close to my daughter's age, is very similar to my daughter, where they just want to be held more. They want to sleep with us. They don't like going in the crib. They don't sleep through the night. They like to nurse through the night. Honestly, like, they're just as bright and they're just as happy and they're perfect as they are, and they just have different needs. And as a mom, nobody will know your child more than you know your child, and nobody can meet their needs the way that you can meet their needs. And so at the end of the day, you just gotta listen to what works best for you and what feels best for you, and that has just been really loud for me, especially as there's been these two eclipses and the equinox and the Mercury retrograde, and it's like, okay, like let go of what anybody else says. Let go of that inner critical voice that is creating space for these outer voices to be heard, and just trust yourself and trust your baby and just slow down right now. Like, I don't need to be doing so much stuff right now. I just need to be living simply, and I just need to be living super present. And so ultimately, as the spring is coming and I'm setting intentions and just getting really clear on what I want my next year to look like, I just am giving myself that space to slow down and be more present. And yeah, envisioning like, what does it look like to be more present, and what does it look like to be more comfortable and embodied in the way that I want to mother my child, in the way that I know is best for my child. What goals are supportive of that? And if any goals come up that are maybe a little too ambitious for that right now, or like maybe they're great goals but they're not supportive of me in this time of motherhood, just like letting them go, putting them on hold. Like, I can come back and check on them in the next year and the next 2 years, and I'm sure if I have more kids in the future, it might just reset, going back into that stage of early childhood again. And yeah, it's really amazing how nature just shows us the way, and there will be a time in my life where I can be ambitious, or maybe I don't even need to be ambitious. Maybe none of us need to be ambitious, and we just need to be still, and we just need to listen to the earth, and yeah, we just need to let things be. I don't know. But anyways, that's pretty much it for my springtime rituals. I potentially tonight, depending on how I'm feeling, because I just started my period, but I'm also just feeling a little more outward and wanting to be social, I got invited to equinox gathering with some women close by, so that might be fun. And me and Austin also talked about potentially doing a bonfire and just throwing our intentions into the fire and giving them to the earth. So if we don't do that tonight, we'll do that this weekend probably. And just, yeah, I feel just a new freshness inside. I feel like everything changed, and also nothing has changed. And I'm just really excited for this next cycle of seasons. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for following along my journey. I would love to hear what's coming up for you this spring, what cycle and season you're in your own inner life. If you're in a place where you can be more ambitious and set big goals and dreams, or if you're in a time of stillness like me, or if anything else is coming up, I would love to hear. I love talking about this stuff. Anyways, guys, I will see you soon. Thank you so much for being here.
What does the wolf say? Oh. I want to take like